guys, welcome back. This is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you for joining me here. Another wonderful live day. This is day 510 of me doing these lives. This evening, I'd like to continue. As I mentioned last night, we're quickly approaching the end of this book. And so I am going to continue speaking on this as we approach the end and share some additional tidbits with you on how these families are adapting to different traditions and helping their family to grow to a whole nother level by creating that bond that they need to create that strong family. So hi Rhonda and hi Wanda. You guys should be sleeping. What's going on? So I'm going to speak tonight on, first of all, let me just say before I begin my live, I will be moving platforms from my personal page. I will no longer be on this page as of June 1st. So I'm just giving you all a heads up. I will not be sending invitations out. I will be putting a message on my main page and just informing individuals that I will be on my fan page. So no longer will I be here. So I did send out some invites. If you did not receive an invite and you have interest in continuing to follow me, please inbox me and I will be sure to send you an invite. All right, so this evening what I'm speaking on is we've been talking on traditions and the benefit of traditions. And a lot of times what happens in families is when you create particular traditions, it helps to give those family members memories to take into the future. So as we're maturing as adults and matured as adults, we want to make sure that our children, we're going to leave something behind for them to follow, something for them to look back on and say, you know what, I remember when mommy and daddy did this. I remember when my sisters and brothers did this. And this just creates extra excitement for them so that when they have their own family, they can look back and say, you know, I remember the time when my sister and brother was outside in front of our house and every evening the ice cream truck came by and we made sure that we bought some ice cream. I don't know. I'm just making that up. That's the first thing that came to my mind. When I was a young girl in Jamaica, you know, I remember just distinct things running around the neighborhood. The one thing that sticks out in my mind as a youngster in Jamaica is when we actually grew chickens and rabbits and all of those wonderful things. So I distinctly remember that, going out there and farming, pretty much, to say the least, right? Farming. And I also, there's another thing that I remember is growing a cherry tree from the seed. One little seed I throw in the ground and it matured into this big cherry tree. So there's things that you may not be able to necessarily do these days that you did back then. But you can reminisce back and think about the wonderful things that you did that you share with your children, and they'll look at you in awe and say, you know what, I wish we were doing that as a family. And so that's what's going to ultimately help you to generate new traditions with your own family, and they'll take what you shared with them to grow and mature with their own children. They're not going to do the exact same things that you do, but they'll add their own little spin on it, and they'll have other brand new creative memories that they can create and move forward with. So we've been touching on traditions and what different attributes are affected by traditions. All right, so I spoke on a couple of things yesterday. And last night, let me see what I told you guys last night if you didn't join. I spoke about traditions on Thanksgiving, values, and Christmas. What typically happens during Thanksgiving with your family? Is there something that you can look back now and remember, you know what, I remember what we did last year and we're going to do it again this year, right? Christmas, what does that look like to you? Do your family sit down and all send out greeting cards to close friends regularly every single year? What is it? You know, everyone does something different. So we spoke on that last night. So tonight what I want to speak on is seasons. Seasons. This is a very, very short segment, but I'm going to ask you 3 questions at the end. Hi, Damon. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm going to ask you a question at the end before we close. But according to this book, I like to reference things by this particular author from the book because they mentioned some points. You can actually take it and add it to your own family, or maybe there are some things that you're already doing. So you're ahead of the game. Congratulations, right? So welcome the season, and the 2 attributes that this speaks on is education and sensitivity. All right. So If you live in a place where there is a distinct season, it is fun for your children to anticipate the flowers of spring or the snow of winter or the bright leaves of fall. Now, you know very well, here in Florida, we don't have too many trees turning yellow and orange and all kind of funky colors, right? So we're in awe. We're like, oh my gosh, this is great. About the only thing a lot of us will see here is the trees turning green, 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 and the pollen coming in. And then next thing you know, your car full of green. And you're wondering, great, did I just wash my car or is this the color of my paint? So that's probably as much season that we'll get. And you'll find people in Florida, typically what they'll do is they'll take a trip to another state so that they can see snow, right? Or they can see the leaves changing just to say that they've actually experienced it. And that's a nice thing to do. So seasons basically assist in the area of education and sensitivity. Try having a little family outing on your near official first day of spring or other season. Go on a picnic or some activity dependent on the time of the year and talk about the changes happening to the earth and about what family members will be doing during that season ahead. So that can actually generate some conversation, because if your children are young, they're going to look at you and say, well, mommy, how does that tree turn orange and then brown or brown and then orange, whatever the case is. And then it suddenly falls off because it's replenishing itself. It's a process. And what I find is that a lot of times we don't take time to understand the evolution of different things that are around us. We see it, we know it happens, but we often take for granted that it just happens automatically. But a lot of children, they a lot of times don't understand the process that it goes through. So that alone, something that simple, can be a conversation piece as you're creating a small tradition with your children. And even if they're teenagers, they may not ever have known about the process. So it's never too late to teach them and share that information with them, right? So that would be a great conversation to have the first day of spring. How do the leaves change on the trees? Why is it that some states change and others don't, right? At what particular time of the year does this happen? And you find that you'll have a full-fledged conversation that now you're generating communication between your family, camaraderie, you're bonding, you're extending the love between each other. And the word that I don't like, people always say, is we have a dysfunctional family. You'll find that that will ultimately go away if that's the case, which that should not be, right? So also, if you try to have a weekly family night, we spoke on traditions. You can make it even more fun by having a special seasonal dinner in the first week of the season, right? A nice seasonal dinner. Maybe there's some special sides that you prepare. Maybe you have your family members participating in creating those sides. Try not to do it all yourself. A lot of times you have your children that may want to be creative and try something new. So give them that task, just like we spoke about in this book in the earlier part several weeks ago. When you give them responsibility, they feel accountable and they also feel independent and they feel like they're involved. So never leave them out or tell them something like, you know what, I'll do it because it might take you more time if you do it. You ever see some family that tell their children that? How are they going to learn if you don't give them the chance to get themselves involved in what it is that you're doing? All right. So I'm going to read a little story to you, and this is from Linda. This is the parent, the mom, I believe, of this family that I've been sharing throughout this book. With a family the size of ours, it is hard to find too many things to eat that everyone likes. But there are some at times in our family we've taken to have some of our more special old standbys on family nights. During the fall, we would have some kind of fondue where the children could dip and cook their own. In winter, we would have some kind of warm soup or stew on family night. During the spring, we would have pasta, and during the summer, we'd have salad. On the first family night of each new season, we would have a special little ceremony welcoming the season and having something new related to the season for dinner. Linda. All right. So that's a little bit on the seasons. Welcome the season is just a suggestion on how you can create new family traditions with your family under this particular category. And as I mentioned, it affects education by educating them on what seasons are, right? And also sensitivity. on that particular area. So I have 3 questions for you. And this is ideal because for whatever reason, this word season has been coming up in my mind for the past week. And every time, because of my gift of discernment, every time something resonates in my spirit, typically I'll come across it in a conversation with something that I'm studying. And it actually appeared right in this book. So the season, and I did a post on my page. I don't know if any of you caught it, but I talked about the seasons of life that we sometimes go through. We often go through changes that we either gravitate to or changes that we wish never took place. But remember, when we're going through life, we have to evolve like the caterpillar and the butterfly. We have to eventually get to the point where we're spreading our wings and we're moving into something that's brand new. And I will tell you, I am evolving to a whole different level. If you're just joining me right now, I mentioned in the very beginning that I'll be moving to my fan page on June 1st. So you have about a week and you will no longer see me on this page. And if you don't evolve, then you'll never get a chance to find out where else you can be of more benefit. Maybe the area that you're in right now, you're not serving a great purpose. Maybe others aren't benefiting from where you are and could benefit somewhere else. So seasons happen, they come, and I want you to make sure you understand that you have to propel in that direction towards that season and embrace it. All right? Because for whatever reason it's coming, it's there for a particular reason. You know, my motto in life is nothing ever happens by chance. And I'm going to repeat that again. Nothing ever happens by chance. You ever hear sometimes people look at you and say, oh my goodness, I wish you luck. There's no such thing as luck. All right? Nothing happens by chance. God strategically sets everything up in our lives the way it's supposed to happen. And the other thing I have to tell you is, if you saw my post today, he also positions things and gives certain people the things that they can bear. He'll never give you more than you can bear, right? Because sometimes you hear people say, oh my gosh, this is just too much. I don't know how much more I can take. The Lord knows how much you can take. So a lot of times you have to grow through it so that you can find out what's there for you on the other side. So here's my question to you. The first one is, identify one area in your life that you know will go through some form of change. Okay? Because you're destined for evolution. I don't know what that area is in your life. Okay? I'm not here to predict anything. All I'm saying is you're going to go through some form of change in your life. I can give you several examples, but I'm going to allow you to be creative. I don't get too much involvement when it comes to communication. I encourage you guys time and time again. I say, message me. As I'm here presenting my time to you, I want you to inbox me and say, Donna, you ask a question, here is a response. It's like you're teaching in a classroom and the teacher is there and the teacher spend a whole hour teaching you a lesson and they give you homework. And then they send you home and they said, bring back the homework tomorrow. The purpose of that is so that the teacher can understand, find out exactly how much of that you retained and what part of it you understand or don't understand. So I'm encouraging you to type something in your message when you get off the live tonight. What is it that you're evolving through? If you don't want to put it personally, inbox me, all right? But we're all going to experience some kind of change. What is the one change that you're going to see that you're going to go through? You don't have to tell me what's going to happen with it, but just list it. What is one change that you're going to eventually go through here in the near future? The second question is, how will you begin to adjust to it? You're going to change. How will you situate yourself in order to adjust to that change? All right, if I'm going too fast, I've repeated it a couple times. Feel free to replay it over and over again till you catch the last part of it. The third one is, how will this affect your life or others that are in your life and are around you? How will it affect them? How is it going to affect your children? How is it going to affect your parents? How is it going to affect your friends? How is it going to affect the people that you're associated with right now? Will they be in your life the next 5 days, the next 10 days, the next 20 years? I don't know. That's just a question I'm asking you. So I'm going to ask for your participation on this one. If you've joined my live and you didn't get a chance to be on live with me and you hit the replay button, I'm asking that you answer those questions. Write them out, type them, and inbox me, or put them right in the response after the live. All right. These are things that you're ultimately going to go through. And if you're not able to answer these basic questions, you may or may not have a difficult time transitioning to the next phase in your life. So that's all I wanted to share with you this evening. I'm going to be back again tomorrow. This is day 510 for me. And we'll be back tomorrow, day 511. I'm going to continue as we are approaching the end of this book to share some additional insights with you. But the one thing that I will tell you, as I mentioned, if you're just joining me towards the end, as of June 1st, I will be on my fan page. I've sent out 40 invites. I haven't gotten 40 responses. But if you wish to continue following me, please inbox me privately and I will send you an invite. So tomorrow I'll be back again. I do pray that this lesson was valuable to you. Maybe it was not for you. It was for somebody else. I'm going to encourage you to share this live with them, because if you try to explain it to them, you may miss a part of the segment that I've shared. Outside of that, if you love what you heard, please hit the love button. And I'll just be back again here tomorrow with some other interesting topics that I feel can bring some form of value to your life. So I thank you guys for joining me. Damon, thank you as always for your support. Wanda, thank you for your support. Rhonda, thank you for being here. And there's Miss Wanda again. And for anyone else that may tune in later on and hit the replay button, thank you for joining me. And I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow night. Have a fantastic rest of your evening and sleep well. Ciao.